Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. My name's Mike Cummins. I'm a Senior Technical Architect at Bedroq. Today we're going to be doing the police webinar for June 2024. We're going to be joined by Steve Murphy, who's the Director at UVS, and we're going to talk about the partnership between Bedroq and UVS. What this partnership provides to the policing sector is control room services. So we're able to offer video wall solutions and support to control rooms in the police. We're going to be doing a live demonstration today from Steve's demo suite in Burnley, which is where we take police customers. So if you see something today that you might be interested in, please let us know and we can meet up for a face-to-face demo in Burnley. Or alternatively, if you want to see one of the features again that we've looked at today in more detail, we can do that either in person or remotely via Teams. So for people who are joining us today for the first time, just a quick recap of who Bedroq are basically. So we're a team of 50+ people. We're 90% engineering professionals. We have multiple UK-based data centres that are ISO accredited. As you can see on the screen, they're home office and police approved data centres as well. And we provide high security solutions to the police and high security energy sectors, which we've been doing since 1994, previously as Telemachus. So the elements that Bedroq bring to this partnership are things like 24/7 remote and on-site support. We also monitor and manage all of the equipment remotely in our 24/7 NOC. We can do any of the secure networking elements too. So where you need multi-site control rooms installations, we can handle that. And we also do, as you can see there, quite a lot of things to do with the actual video management system. So these solutions are primarily used for police control rooms or large local authority control rooms, where you'll have hundreds of cameras and all kinds of other feeds that all need to come together onto a video wall solution. So as you're going to see on the demo, it's really easy to use and you can move things around. You can put all kinds of camera layouts wherever you want them, but they're all dependent on having the cameras in the first place, which is where we come in. So we manage and maintain people's video management systems. We also add things like live facial recognition, video analytics, all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to hand you over to Steve very shortly. So Steve is the director at UVS, and he's going to show us some of the features of their platform called Lucidity. And then we're going to go some questions at the end. See you shortly. Over to you, Steve. If you could share your screen, please.
Okay, are we sharing?
Yep, we've got you.
Okay, great. So, good morning, everybody, and thank you very much for joining. Thanks to Mike for the introduction. Welcome to UVS's Burnley headquarters and demonstration facility. What we have here today is our control room, where we have a setup of operator workstations running, for example, VMS, the milestone solution here. We have other workstations. We have most of the police centres that we're working in. People want to be able to bring in a laptop and physically connect it to have it as an input to the video wall. So we have a setup here. We have our touchscreen controller, which we'll come back to, which makes it very simple for us to control any of the different video walls that we were working with in the setup. So, for example, if we just switch to the camera showing the whole screens, what we have here, this could be your main operational control room. Here it's 2x2 4-screen video wall. It could be any size in many different police locations. We have 24-screen video walls, 8-screen video walls. It depends specifically on the application. This could be a CMP covert monitoring room where we have separate displays. Again, we'll show how we can control all of these and the feeds to those in these other rooms directly from our single video wall controller solution. And this could be a gold command or a crisis room where, again, you might have a single display Again, we have a range of technology. We've got LED video walls, LED video walls, LCD video walls, and the very, very high-end LCD video wall here as well. All of the displays within our control room today are being controlled directly from our Lucidity video wall controller. This would normally be rack mounted in an equipment room, and we get the outputs from here to the displays via various ways, via Cat6 extenders or direct cabling. And this is the device that allows us to bring in multiple sources, multiple workstations. It allows us to bring in direct camera feeds like you're seeing on the video wall, so that they can be displayed directly. So we have some camera feeds here from cameras within our rooms. And as Mike says, providing we can have access to those camera streams, then we can use those. So to show how easy it is to control the video wall, if we just have a quick look at the touch screen here, basically this is a Lucidity application from our Lucidity control software. We can create easily, and you can, the layouts, the different functionalities. But if we use this at the moment, just to give an example, if we want to change the main video wall layout here to a different configuration, so a pre-configured layout with different pieces of data or camera feeds, it's very easy to select it from here. So here we've got the Bedroq monitoring application and analysis, some video feeds. We've got the milestone workstation, and we've got some other feeds. Equally, you can see that I can also control the CMV room from a single touch panel. I could have that touch panel in this room, or the main police commander can say, I'm giving control what you guys will be seeing in there. And the same with the, for example, maybe the DI office over there on the LED video wall, we can switch that to be something different. And all of this is easily configured, and we'll have a quick look at how we do that within our control software. So everything is very simple to control. You can pre-configure different layouts, different scenarios to suit your kind of operational needs. But of course, you can also dynamically change things as things change on an operation. Please, if there's any questions as we go through this, just type them into the message box, and Mike will shout them out. So we're just going to move over here to have a look at the control software. And basically, if we just for the moment focus on the 2x2 video wall, so you can see it in a little bit more detail. So in front of me here on the left, I have the Lucidity control client. And from here, I can control this wall or any of the other video walls that I want to have associated with it. And basically, if we, first of all, look and say, okay, we want to bring in, at the moment, I've got it open in case there are any questions that go in a little deeper as an administrator. But when you log on, you can give operators logins. And in this case, you can see on this login, the operator only has access to IP cameras. He does not have access to lots of the other data sources that we have available. But if we go back to the main application, if I've got access to the cameras, I can drag those cameras onto the video wall, and simply they will appear in the location. Okay, if I want to bring in another camera from a different area, I can bring that directly and drag that into the video wall here. What we provide are specific templates, and we have a whole range of templates available, and you can create any template. And what this does is allow you to very easily create layouts that are suitable for your operation. So this is a layout, a template with a pre-configured 4 sources. But if I now want to change because someone's made us aware of some kind of incident in our area that's now on national TV, then we can bring up a live TV feed into that window. If I want to move to some other kind of application, maybe, for example, I want to look at some GPS tracking application, I can bring it up into here. So the templates make it very easy. And as I say, they're all in different shapes and sizes. that allow us to create. So that was a template that was populated. I can have a blank template, and basically that just creates me 9 placeholders in this 3x3 area. And again, I can then bring in whatever I want to bring in. So I'm grabbing my desk input, which is the laptop that some officer has come into the control room and would like to be able to share that information. And again, I can bring any of the kinds of information that I want to see directly into that area. So it makes it very simple to create the layouts, and then you can save the layout so that it can be quickly recalled. As you've seen earlier, we can create layouts, we can bring them out from the touchscreen panel, and we can also run the presets directly from the video wall application here. Okay. So for example, I'm just pre-loading that preset, which again, I think is a good example of the range of data sources that we wanted to cover. We've got live TV, we've got workstation sources here, we've got a live clock. We had a visit last week from a police force, and they were really interested in being able to put anywhere the whole range of different sources that they have, from the milestone workstation sources to visitors coming in with a laptop, and there are other ways of connecting sources in that way. So to cover some of the other kinds of applications, we've looked at IP camera streams, which we can see directly. We've looked at the physical HDMI sources that we've seen, like the TV. So that's basically a HDMI output from a TV viewer. If I drag my milestone workstation in, that's coming in as a HDMI copy of that workstation over there. We also have available what we call lucidity view and control sources. So for example, these are running as VNC. So if I just, first of all, give you a view again of the room. So let me just bring up that camera on this left-hand screen. So basically, this laptop here, I physically got it connected via a cable, HDMI cable. And again, most police operations rooms ask us to provide 2 or 3 physical connections for when people enter. So if I grab that source, which is my desk input, I'll display it over here on the right-hand side. And that is a physical input. I can't control it from here. It's just a copy of what's on that screen. And it's live, so that if I go over here and change it to, don't really want to look at the election, but, we can change it on here. However, I also have this laptop in our control room configured as an LVC or VNC source. So if I go to my VNC sources, I can also drag that in without any physical connection to it, and that is my VNC source. The benefit of that is I can now control that application directly from my Lucidity GUI, which is a real benefit. And again, last week, the police loved the idea of having live milestone workstation feed on the wall with live video at full speed, but being able to also have it as a VNC source so that I can control it, I can control the PTZs, etc., etc. And just to prove the what we're saying here, so on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, it's my VNC source. And if I do physically unplug my source, my HDMI cable, then obviously I don't have a HDMI input anymore, but I maintain the fact that I'm still displaying it like as a VNC source. Okay, quickly on to other sources. Again, we looked at web sources previously. Again, the benefit, all the features that we have in the system really have been generated over between us maybe 80 years, between the senior guys in the business of working in control rooms, and a lot. 70% of our work is high security, government, security services, police, special ops, etc. So putting up a web page, a URL from your network of some of your applications, and it was always an issue that they then had to try and find a way to control it. So basically what we give you here is web control. So directly from Lucidity, I've got full control of that application. We also give different ways of auto logging in when we launch a web page with credentials. So you can store credentials within the setup of the system. So that really makes a very easy way to control applications. Again, just to prove that's not just on one application. If I bring up the BBC News website directly as a source, so these are not coming from external PCs. These are web browsers that we are taking care of as sources within our controller, and we have an internal browser. And again, if I take control, we have full control of the applications from here. So I hope that makes sense. In terms of integrations, we've mentioned, for example, we've got Milestone. If I just bring that over here, and if I just bring up the camera view of the room. So on this workstation over here, we're running Milestone. What we have also is we have full integration with Milestone, like we do with Synaptics VMS, like we do with Genitech, and from within the application, I don't have to have Lucidity as a client separately. I can control, this guy currently is logged on, as I showed you earlier, as a basic operator, but I can control everything directly from this workstation. Things also for the future, again, what police generally were very interested in, is if we use this application that we have running, which is a high-level building management solution, if your system, and Milestone can do this, can send out alarms to our controller. If we create and use this to simulate an over temperature or over pressure, what you're seeing is that the video wall is automatically being driven, that's not by me and it's not by my colleague, to an alarm condition. So this is a WinGuard, this is the advanced WinGuard application over here. That's basically what is happening there. So the alarm was generated within this application, and we then sent an alarm to the controller to carry that out. So we've got a lot of integrations, different solutions available within the system. So you've got HDMI sources, you've got VNC sources, we've got web pages, we've got live IP cameras. We can also bring, and we do this in a lot of police workstation control rooms where they've got multiple rooms on site, and in certain operations rooms, they want to be able to view workstations from multiple areas. So the way we do that is that, for example, this particular workstation here that I'm referring to, we're also taking that HDMI feed into a HDMI to IP encoder that creates an IP stream. And what I can then do is drag this workstation source directly onto the video wall. And that means I can also drive that directly, for example, and display it elsewhere. So if I want to take that and put it on one of the CMP screens, then that's what I've just done. And that can be all over your estate in multiple rooms. We do have some sites that probably got 20 or 30 ops rooms that might only have a single screen in that area, but it's easily achievable by encoding the system on there. We can also bring up different applications. So, for example, if we go back to the main 2x2 wall, we get requests also to be able to allow people to walk into a control room and share data from a laptop or from a phone or other kinds of information. So, for example, I'm just picking up this iPhone here, and I'm just casting the phone to our video wall controller application. And basically, as you can see, it's now live. Picture of Johnny working over here, which is unusual, and put that onto the video wall. So we have a collaboration input, which can be used for video feeds, people sharing video information that they've captured, and for all other kinds of sources. We can connect PCs and laptops in exactly the same way. We also the police the other day asked specifically about, you know, if we've got a number of HDMI sources, it might be from a PC, it might be from a TV viewer. Yeah, how can I achieve audio and get audio being played directly on in the control room application? So, for example, what we have available, just switch on the soundbar because it auto powers off. If we bring up, for example, the free view within Lucidity, we have an audio level control.
You can have the phone battery like.
And hopefully you can hear that we can control audio. So it's a simple control. It's not something that we're not talking about a complex audio, but we can select audio from any of these applications that are coming into the controller and select which one goes out to the audio output on the video wall controller. So we've covered audio, we've covered the collaboration input. Again, just coming back to the touch panel, it's a very powerful device. It can also send and allow our Lucidity controller to send out commands directly to other devices. So, for example, we have a very basic lighting control system here, and I just hit the button, and as you see, it's turned the lights off. And I can also, hopefully, turn the lights back on. I can turn video walls on and off. So it's a very useful and powerful tool within that. So, Mike, at this point, we've covered an overview. If there's anything you think I've missed in this brief overview, I can stop sharing and move back to any questions.
Yes, that's absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Steve. I'm going to take over now, if that's okay, just for a few questions. So the first one that came in was, is there a minimum amount of camera and desktop feeds for one system, and do the desktops have to be HDMI? So do you have a minimum amount of feeds per system, effectively?
Not minimum. I mean, in terms of getting HDMI or DisplayPort inputs into the controller, the input cards are 4-channel. So you're going to have 4 inputs as a minimum. We can add more cards to that system. Some of the large police sites, you know, have got maybe 24, 30, 40 physical inputs, because some of them favor having physical inputs. IP cameras, we need to put an IP decoding card in there. That as a minimum will give you 12 HD camera feed decodes. So, but then you can expand that up to 100 or 120, if that answers your question.
Thank you very much. Another one was, can you make an alert from an Axis camera, bring that camera feed to full screen? So I think probably referring to a little bit like you did with the WinGuard system, but could you do that with an Axis? I think they'll be probably referring to, they do like video analytics on an Axis with a line cross detection or things like that. Is that possible?
The key point, Mike, is that if that system can send out, and I'm not that familiar with that particular camera network, if it can send out a TCP/IP command with the text like play alarm preset 1, the answer is yes. What I don't know is whether Axis...
we do quite a few integrations with other systems with Axis as well, so I'm sure we could work that one out. And one that which I think I'll cover this one really. It says, what can you do with ANPR feeds? So directly, the system doesn't do anything with ANPR, but as Steve was just saying there about integrations, we can create an integration for that as part of the service. So let's say if you've got a clear tone back office and you need specific hits, ANPR hits to trigger a preset, like Steve says there, we could do that. So you might have a certain hot list in clear tone that says if you see a hit in this area, then bring it alert full screen in the control room. We can do that. Other than that, I'm not sure what you might mean by it. What can we do with ANPR feeds? But yeah, it's certainly possible. We can create integrations for pretty much any system, really. So I think that's it. There's 3 questions. So thank you very much, Steve. That's great. Thank you very, very much for the demo. Really interesting, Steve. Absolutely fantastic. We'll be in touch with any questions that we get. We can pass them on to Steve if they're for Steve. If you see something that you're interested in, please let us know, and we can go over to the UVS demo suite, or we can do another remote demonstration if required as well. So thanks again, Steve, and thanks everybody for joining. Our next law enforcement webinar will be in September on the 26th. We'll be putting a link to that to sign up very shortly in the Q&A section. So if you could click onto that and put your name and email address in, then you'll get an email on the next webinar. Thank you ever so much, everybody, for joining, and thanks again, Steve.
No problem. Thank you.